We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
It's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 57 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. I have no intro this week.
The man needs no explanation this week. We're talking
about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There we go.
I figured I'd sell the I have no intro with the dead air.
Yeah.
And neither one of you thought that was funny.
Well, I was trying to leave it dead.
I was like, is he going to start talking again?
Nope.
What's going on?
I was actually searching in my head for a way to pull myself out of it. So thank you very much for that. So we're going to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, then we're going to talk about what we watched this week. It's going to be great.
And then we're going to go to bed. Maybe take a couple lozenges.
Lozenges.
Lozenge. Put them in my mouth.
It's like a lozenge. Can't remember where that's
Ricola.
Anyway.
Arnold.
I don't know. We're so far off track.
Oh, man.
Yet weirdly, the Ricola bit is on track.
Total Ricola.
Ooh, that's
Ooh.
not the direction I was headed with that. All right.
I'm confused which direction we're going to go with it.
I was going with more Ricola, like, gives you the impressions of, like, mountains in north, almost eastern Europe. Does it not? Does that not conjure up Swiss mountains in your head when you hear
guess.
Yeah, and he's from Austria, so, you know. That's where I was headed, but we can
I don't know.
talk
I kind of liked mine better.
It was funnier. Somebody laughed when I said mine, even if it was just me. Haha. Even if it was just me.
It's never just you, man.
We don't know how many listeners are laughing.
I'm going to go with at least
air.
a couple, yeah. Well, it depends. Somebody thought the podcast broke, so there's no one here.
And then went back and restarted trying to get some audio back.
So they've been listening to me singing for the past 5 minutes. They'll catch up eventually. It's okay.
Yeah, they'll skip ahead.
Yeah, it's fine.
Worst case scenario, the song gets stuck in your head.
Always.
And then you go watch some Arnold movies. That's not a bad day.
Arnold movies. Let's talk about Arnold movies.
That's what we're here to talk about, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, well, you guys have seen a lot more Arnold movies than I have. I don't think I've made that a secret at all on this podcast.
Those are true lies, my friend.
True lies. Is that supposed to be a reference that I'm...
That is.
Well, if you watch more Arnold, you would know.
I kind of guessed that. I just thought it would be funnier if I said it.
Stop the madness. Come on, son.
You can keep going. And
You're being the real villain.
You're still not going to find one that... I actually want to see how far you can go before you say a movie that I've seen. Good luck.
I'm struggling, man.
Yeah.
But
well, a couple of those
maybe it's because
Arnold's barely in the villain.
Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I'm forgetting stuff. But you're junior, so you should remember things. That was the movie Junior.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Really? Well, you better see it before your end of days.
Still not getting there.
Are you at least writing them down?
Am I writing them down?
Yeah.
No.
I hope you're using a pencil. That way you can use the eraser.
There it is again.
What do you got for Running Man?
We better get right into this because we're just asking for collateral damage.
See, I know that one, but I've never seen it.
Well, we better get going before we Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.
All right, that wins. We're done. Let's talk about Arnold.
Yeah, that one was run down.
Stretch.
That one was on purpose, and I know it.
Yeah, that one was run down.
That's just a very brief cameo.
Right, the longer
Still
I look
counts.
at this list, the more things I've seen. So.
Yeah, I feel like there's a certain section of this, of like years of his stuff that you probably might have seen where he's a little more family friendly, which is why I was a little surprised when you said no to Junior.
Nope.
Because that one's super family friendly. He gets pregnant in it. It's got Danny DeVito.
Of course it has Danny DeVito.
Well, I think it's their second one after Twins.
As far as I'm concerned, Danny DeVito is in one movie. and that is
Period?
Hercules, obviously.
He's only in one movie total, you mean?
He's in Hercules. I can't listen to the man talk and not see Hercules.
Not picture Phil?
Yeah, I can't. I can't
fair.
not picture Phil.
That's fair.
I'll give you that one.
I see him as the penguin every time, but that's just
I'm more of a Renaissance
you
man
guys watch
guy myself.
different-
Renaissance
things.
Man is such a great Danny DeVito movie.
You know, we've officially talked more about Danny DeVito on this episode
Arnold
than the man who
Schwarzenegger.
we waited over a year
Yep.
to dedicate an episode to.
You mean the governor
That's-
of California?
That's
Former.
it.
Former
Former.
governor of California?
I don't think they treat it like presidents
It's
where
not
you're
where
always
it's just
Mr.
always
President.
the president? No.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
I'd still call him the governor if I met him.
The governor,
No.
the Governator.
That's it. He's the Governator, and he's the last action hero. And Scott, take it away before we get super off topic and start talking about like the Rolling Stones or something.
We are all on topic.
That's
That's the problem.
Slightly on
It's
topic.
weirdly
You were
on
before,
topic.
listing off different movies he was in.
In terms
What
of
the-
tangents, this is the most on topic we've been.
That's fair. That's fair. However, let's keep it going.
Yes. Okay. Should we start off near the beginning of his career, which is
Take us way
the
back, my
first
friend.
like actual starring role he really had? I would say was in the Conan movies, which I haven't seen since I was a kid. But I remember when I was younger, I liked them, and I tried to watch them again in high school, and they're a little hard to get through then, but they're still kind of fun. Like but.
Well, I think at that point they were just playing off of his Mr. Universe, right?
Oh,
Being just this
definitely.
big meathead, muscly guy.
Oh, for
Let's just
sure.
throw this giant monster of a man
that
in
was
there.
that whole both.
Who
those
cares
movies
if
were all
anyone
right.
understands the dialogue? Just let it be.
Yeah, and that's fine with it too. Like they kind of lean into that part of it, but that also kind of goes with the Conan the Barbarian kind of mythos. I think at least. I don't know anything about him, to be honest. I only know about the movies. But I didn't know that he had done both of them before he starred in the Terminator, which was actually
Really?
which I'm just going by off of
'cause
the
Conan the Barbarian came out
Wikipedia.
in 82.
Well, I'm
The
just
Destroyer
curious to
was
know,
84, then
Craig.
Terminator 84.
Have you ever seen the Conan movies?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think
Well,
so.
James Earl Jones is in it, so
Yeah,
I
I
think
looked
you would
that up.
appreciate it.
I think
So-
what's his name? Andre the Giant is in one of them or both of them as
Oh,
well.
love that guy. Love that guy.
Before we started actually recording, when you'd mentioned Conan and Arnold's long hair, I was like, I should look up what Arnold looked like with the long hair. And then rather than look at that, I looked at James Earl Jones' IMDb page because I got distracted.
That's fair.
That is fair.
Did you see Mufasa?
It's on here, that's for sure. But I actually got hung up on all the times he's in Star Wars, but not directly Star Wars related things.
Oh yeah, because they use his voice and a bunch of other stuff. Like
Yeah. And he was on
video
Recess
game.
as Santa Claus.
He was on what is Santa Claus?
Recess.
Oh, that's interesting.
Remember when we talked about Miracle on 3rd Street like last
30.
week?
Yeah, Miracle on, is it 3rd Street?
3rd Street's the Recess movie.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Santa Claus.
Not 34th Street. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he's the old man who sits on the porch. Now that you mention it,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's Santa Claus.
Hot damn.
Yeah.
That was very Schwarzenegger of you. Just out here saving the day, my friend.
Just yeah, if you're still making movie references, I'm still
That
not
was
getting it.
none. I don't
No,
think
that
was at
wasn't.
all,
That
yeah.
was me just
Okay.
trying to get back on top.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Back to the other tab I have open. I have
You're
not seen the
terminated.
Conan
Okay,
movie.
Scott, let's take this
I've
over
not
again.
seen the Conan movies, but
Have you
I
seen
feel
the
like I would
Terminator?
enjoy. I have not seen the Terminator. I did watch the
How-
Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show though.
How
remember?
are you
not
25
in
years
that.
old and you've never seen The Terminator?
I have no interest in it, I guess.
Come on, son. You like technology.
So I don't like technology that kills me.
See, well,
That's fair.
the
In fact,
funny
I
thing
try
Well,
to
that's the
directly
future.
avoid
That is all technology. It's coming that way, man.
The thing is, I think Craig, you'd enjoy the first one out of all of them. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but the first one
Not one.
is probably the least sci-fi one of them all. Too, it's more of a slasher. The first Terminator.
That's true, yeah. It's literally just a dude who follows them trying to take him out.
He's also the bad guy in it, which is something I didn't learn till very later in life because I started off my Arnold, in Terminator viewing experience with the second one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember that was the first Terminator I was introduced to as a kid was Judgment Day.
Oh,
And it
okay.
wasn't until I was like, at least had seen Judgment Day bunch of times before I like someone told me, or my parents had introduced me to them the first one, because this is back when VHSs were more how you tried to watch stuff. You didn't have the internet as an option. You didn't always. We just had Blockbuster, and that wasn't one of the things my parents would get.
You had what?
Blockbuster. For the listeners who weren't around
call them on the
when
telephone?
Blockbuster was a thing, that was like iTunes, but it was a place
What's
you went
iTunes?
to.
Yeah,
Okay.
what's iTunes? That's pretty out of date too.
So it's like Netflix, but it's a building
Oh,
with shelves instead of like screens.
you mean like having friends?
So it's like a family video.
Yes, family
Do-
video.
Do you think they have?
Our well-known listeners.
Do you think they
Well,
have
that's a
Adam's
car
Family
dealership
Values?
now. They don't have Adam's Family Values.
Hey, lady.
We'd all go play jacks down at the soda fountain.
What are you talking about, you
You
idiot?
know how you talk to your grandma.
Now that was off topic.
You can't say Blockbuster on this podcast without doing the John Mulaney bit. It just doesn't happen.
That's fair.
true, man.
That's fair. I forgot
That's
that was
true.
a clause we had written in.
Yep,
It's in the
our
contract.
There's so many of those little extra things, that we can't do an Arnold thing without one of us doing an Arnold impression.
Which there's only been one this episode, and I am severely disappointed.
Well, Scott needs to step his game up.
I get a little self-conscious about it sometimes, to be honest, because I'm just like, does it work? I don't
Scott,
know.
it's just us here.
Is it
guys.
offending anyone?
It's just us here. All right, you can do it.
So
Let it
can you,
out.
Craig?
Not
Anyways,
a chance. I'm closer to doing a Harrison Ford impression on this episode.
That would be awesome.
That would be pretty awesome. I almost did. We'll see if I fit it in later.
I want to see that now. I don't even care about hearing it. I just want to see it.
You want to see it? I'll mute my mic. It's fine.
There we go. Get off this plane.
You switch the samples. I love that bit.
So Arnold.
Arnold. There we go.
There we go,
Okay.
Scott. See if I can do it.
Yeah,
you can
I
do
was
it.
just waiting for an
Well-
opening.
Following the IMDb page.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Red Sonja? Because I have not.
No, that's
No.
just a Conan sequel
Okay.
slash sidequel.
He plays Calidor.
Then I'm
That
incorrect about
sounds
that. I
terrible.
thought that was
A female redhead sets out on a killing spree to avenge her family's murder.
That sounds.
And that is Bridget Nielsen.
terrible.
Huh. Yeah, no, I thought that was definitely a Conan spinoff. In my defense, if you look at the poster for it, it looks like
It looks
a
like
Conan
Conan.
Probably why
spinoff.
they made it, because they were like,
Big,
you got the hair
muscly
anyway.
meathead.
It also says it's a Dutch American, so
Oh,
I feel like that probably had a little something to do with why it's not just another Conan.
that's fair.
Yeah, maybe the rights were in flux. That's really insignificant. The next one on his list is Commando, though, which is freaking one of my favorites. I love Commando.
Amazing.
I can watch
You a
it
funny guy, Sully.
all the time.
I like you. This one going to kill you last. I lied.
So many great scenes.
So
Such a
good.
great movie.
I think that movie might have some of the best quotes.
It's got great quotes. It's got great montages. I swear there's 4 montages in it, and they all involve Arnold flexing, which is my favorite thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger is when he flexes.
I think this was the beginning of the let's just give Arnold as many puns as we possibly can in his career.
I agree, because before this were a lot of roles where he had like no lines. It was the Terminator,
Yeah.
which he has.
Wasn't there didn't he say like 73 words in that?
Yeah, something
And
like
most
that.
of them-
I've read
most
that,
of
as
them
a
were
random
I'll be
fact.
back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that was actually in the first one, but I'm not sure. Anyways, and then the Conan ones, I'm pretty sure a lot of that maybe been dubbed or he was just didn't say a lot. Anyways, I
Probably.
agree. I think Commando was the first one they kind of leaned into letting him be a little bit more like tongue in cheek with some
Yeah.
of the puns and I
Like the
don't.
part where he kills the guy with the pipe,
Yeah.
with the steam pipe. And he's like,
Lit off some steam.
even as a kid, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
come on,
I
man.
could have wrote this script.
Didn't you?
I feel like anyone really could write this script because it really does come down to a very, very like teenager like idea of an action film, which is why it's so freaking great. Because it's just like his daughter gets kidnapped and he has to go get her
Get
back.
That's it.
And he just
The original
Yeah, I
Taken.
was gonna say that sounds an awful lot like a Liam Neeson movie.
yeah, but it was 20 years before.
And it's full of stupid jokes. Doesn't he drop a guy off a cliff and he's like, I dropped him, or I let him go, or something like that?
yeah, something like that.
Oh, just so much corn. So
All
much
the time.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, and it's just I love that one, and it does so much like ridiculous things. Like at one point he pulled, like, I don't know why this is sticking out to me, probably just because you mentioned it, but like when he at one point just rips the seat out of a car so that he can sit lower in it. I'm just like, I don't know why that
Did they
sticks
not
out.
have the adjuster back then? Could you not have
Apparently
pushed
not.
it back a little farther?
It was a tiny little like coupé like sports car,
Okay.
so I think maybe he just literally couldn't fit in the seat. So they're just like, okay, to make the scene work, Arnold, you're gonna have to take the seat out first. And he's
Sit in
like,
the back
I'll
seat."
do it. And just rips it out.
Forget getting a truck. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Oh, God,
Oh, God, I love Arnold.
I love Commando.
love it. It's a great movie.
It's so great. I'm definitely gonna be rewatching that soon. I meant to rewatch
Yeah.
it for this week, but it wasn't. A, it's not on Netflix, and B, I didn't have as much time to watch stuff this week as I thought I would.
Well, here's the next one on his list. I have not seen this. Raw Deal.
Yeah, neither have I.
We were talking about this before.
He's a sheriff, which
Yeah.
I find a slight stretch.
Which, didn't he have a movie later in his career where he was a sheriff?
Yeah, that's one of his post Governator period. I think it was called like The Last Stand. Is that the one? Yeah,
That sounds.
The
yeah,
Last
that
Stand.
sounds
It says
familiar,
Sheriff
yeah.
Ray Owens. I haven't seen that
Sounds
one yet.
familiar.
I haven't seen many of his since he's come back into it after being the governor.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. But yeah, so after Raw Deal, though, is The Predator, which, again, I haven't seen in a while. I meant to rewatch that recently because the new one came out, but I didn't.
See, that was one where I kind of terminated it. I watched the Predator 2
Okay.
before I watched The Predator, so it messed with me. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Okay,
Where's
fair.
Arnold in this one?
Yeah.
And then I found out, oh no, that was a different movie. Okay.
I think I had that happen with one of the Predators with me as well. But I definitely had seen this when I was younger, and I've seen it at least once since then, but I have not seen it as much as I probably should for what a big Arnold fan I am. Especially considering some of like his co-stars in it are just great. Like, it's like half of them are like from the like Rocky cast, or like half of them are like people Rocky boxed at some point in the Rocky movies.
Probably, yeah. Why not?
Well, it's 'cause you need the muscle heads of
Yeah, just fill it up with
Hollywood
the muscle
then,
heads, yeah.
And I love a movie like that. We all know that. I don't know why. Can't explain it.
Yeah, most importantly, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Exactly. And get to the chopper. That was bad.
That's the most.
That was bad.
Get to the chopper.
There we go. Thank you.
Lol.
I appreciate your attempt,
Cool.
Scott.
See, this is why I was self-conscious about doing it before.
I'm gonna cut that so we can use it as a promo.
Yeah, can we just dub over it?
I hope we can.
Aw, she's ugly.
Anyways.
Aw, she's
She's
beautiful.
beautiful. She's enchanting.
That is 2 John Mulaney jokes in this entire thing. That's impressive.
Absolutely. That's less than I thought. So we're kind of on a roll.
Unless you count
we
the
better
Harrison Ford joke,
That's true. Well, we better keep taking and keep on running.
man.
There we go.
You got it.
I'm reading the
You got it.
IMDb list, and also I'm pretty sure I've seen bits and pieces of this film.
Okay. Well, what scenes can you toss out
Oh,
at us?
none of them.
Okay, do you know what it's about?
I know that it's about without clicking on the IMDb link.
Yes, without clicking, because
It is about
we have
a
discussed
man
this on the
who is
thing
a
before.
man who is stuck in a game show disguised as something else. It's a Stephen King story,
Yeah,
but it wasn't written as Stephen King. It was his pen name. And that's why I'm pretty sure I remember watching bits and pieces of it, because it would have come on TV and my dad would have been like, oh, this is a Stephen King thing, and then watched like 5 minutes of it, and that was it.
yeah, this one definitely would have been one of your parents that you watch as a kid. I know there's definitely some
probably not as a
nudity
kid.
scenes and some quite violent scenes. Yeah, you got it mostly right. Like I wouldn't say the game's disguised as something else, I think that it's pretty straightforward that
A
they're bringing
wrongly
contestants.
convicted man must try to survive a public execution gauntlet staged as a game show. So that would have been my confusion.
Okay.
My confusion is part of the thing.
Fair
Oh no,
enough.
because stage just means that it's
Yeah.
that's the way they set it up.
Yeah. No, I thought when you meant staged, I was thinking like in a sense like they were trying to pretend it wasn't what it was, and I'm like,
No.
no, they were definitely pretty clear. They're trying to kill this guy.
Isn't the concept though that it's supposed to look like it's a game show, but
Yeah.
they're actually trying to kill him?
I think it's like to the like audience, they don't
It
know.
looks like it's a that sounds like Stephen King.
Yeah. God, I haven't seen The Running Man in a while. I need to get some more of these Arnold
This
movies.
is probably one of the only ones on the list so far that I'd be like, yeah, I'd watch that.
No, this one you probably actually, you probably liked the concept of it behind it. You know, like the actiony parts. I'm always like never sure what kind of action you like, Craig. So it's hard for me to recommend that part of it.
I'm a discerning viewer.
Yeah.
But Craig, I got to tell you, I think you would like the stupid one-liners in this one.
Probably.
This one does.
I
have
would
some-
probably
gonna hit you-
appreciate all of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with some of them. Okay, you ready?
Oh yeah, here we go.
After cutting Buzzsaw in half with his own chainsaw, he says,
He had to split.
and then after blowing up Fireball with his own flamethrower tank, he says,
What a hothead.
Okay, who wrote this garbage?
after strangling
screenplay.
Sub-Zero
Yeah.
with barbed wire,
With a pain in the neck.
I hope.
and then he says to him,
Here's your Sub-Zero, not plain zero.
I hope that I should find the book that the story is based on.
I think it's a short
And-
story.
Short story? Either way. I'm going to find the story
Mhm.
that this film is based on and read it just to see if all of these ridiculous lines are actually in it or not.
Oh, 100%
That would be
not.
amazing.
It's 100% not. This is definitely somebody who saw Commando 4 years before. And they're like, oh, yeah. It's like, this
he
is
probably
gonna
had
be
it on
my
his TV
stuff, yeah.
while he's writing. He's like, I just paid $113 for Commando on VHS. I'm going to write the script for this and I'm going to watch it.
D'Souza wrote the screenplay for it. What else
Sounds
has
like
he done? He looks like a director. Looks like if Steven Spielberg had respectable looks about him.
Is he Polish or made better movies than
He
Then Ready
directed-
Player One?
Or no, so he wrote Die Hard
Oh.
and he wrote Commando.
Oh, well,
that's
this
why.
explains it.
Explains
Yeah.
all of that.
forget buying the copy. He made the
Yeah, you
copy.
didn't have to go see it.
He wrote Die Hard, Die Hard 2, The Running Man, Commando.
Oh man, that explains why there's stupid lines in The Running Man too.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wrote, what else did he do? There's something else. Oh yeah, Judge Dredd from '95.
Oh, that was Stallone. Oh, nice. That
Beverly
makes
Hills
so much
Cop
sense.
3. The Flintstones.
The Flintstones. That's
Which
That's
one of
the
these
random
things
one.
does not belong?
yeah.
He was a writer on The $6 Million Man, Knight Rider, stuff.
Macho stuff.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that he ended up writing. I guess
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
Commando
sense that
as
he wrote
well.
Commando and
It's-
The Running Man.
It does make so much sense too. Now that you say that too, they're very, they carry very common themes, very much on the back of Arnold Schwarzenegger's. What's his strong suits, meaning one-liners and actiony stuff where he gets to flex.
So like everything.
Yeah, all his stuff. Like,
Yeah.
oh damn, I missed where's the list. Red
Heat.
which I haven't seen. I got to be honest.
You've never seen it? This is one of the ones I have seen recently. It is a ridiculous premise because he is supposed to be this really
movie. What do you
True,
want?
true.
And,
And
it
it's
has
from the
Jim
80s.
Belushi in it.
Yeah.
It's from the 80s. It's like checking all of the boxes.
Yep. He's supposed to play this like over the top, like super conservative by like the Russian law
Yeah,
cop.
I think it says Moscow
who's-
militia captain.
Yeah. So he's not Russian at all, in case you guys didn't know. In case
This
all
is
our
80s
listeners
American,
weren't
You gotta
aware,
remember this was made in, so his
He's-
accent could
yeah,
have been
he's-
Russian.
he doesn't sound Russian at all.
No, I don't think so either. I'm just saying, in the 80s, in America...
Like, Dolph
might have been
Lundgren
different.
would have fit this role perfectly.
Yeah,
to
no, that would have made
perfection.
more sense. He might have been busy, though, at this time in the Rocky,
Rocky
movie.
too?
Yeah. He might actually...
Make it a crossover. That would be amazing. His name is Ivan Danko, okay? His name is literally Ivan Danko in this movie.
Yeah.
You know how close that is to Ivan Drago? You erase
I
a little
think
bit.
the only reason might be is that he was in the Rocky movie. I don't know when Rocky, whatever he was in, was made, but 88 sounds like it
That
could have
was-
been around
that
the same
was 3,
time.
wasn't it?
Just
Or
a
is it
second, I'm
2?
looking it up. Don't you worry.
I think it was 4 he was in. But
Dolph
I can't
Lundgren was
Is it?
in Sharknado 5, though.
He was also on Arrow.
Yes, he was.
remember. Yes.
And he's in some badass commercial for construction equipment where there's like
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
big. You saw it where they're doing like the push-ups?
Yeah, yeah.
And they do the chin up.
He's in Aquaman, too, apparently.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
he's
shit.
Aquaman's dad.
Oh yeah, that. I
Or
forgot
no,
about
no,
that.
he's not Aquaman's dad. He's the king. My
The
bad.
king,
That's why I
yeah,
got it
yeah, yeah.
mistaken. I always forget that it's the mom is. It's
Yeah,
maybe it's.
mom's a little bit of a slut.
So Rocky 4 was in 85.
Okay.
Oh, so
Red
that's
Heat
3
came
years
out in
before.
88,
Yeah.
In 88, he was doing absolutely nothing. He was in... He'd just done Masters of the Universe as He-Man.
Yeah.
And he was in Red Scorpion in 88. And that's it. He was in Punisher in 1989.
So he might have been filming when Red Heat was being cast. He was pretty busy at the time.
Don't make excuses.
I'm just making excuses for. I haven't even seen this movie. I'm defending it. I'm defending Arnold's role in it because that's how I do.
Okay, so it's got Arnold. It's got Jim Belushi.
Yeah.
It's got Ray's dad on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, I thought you meant like Big Mofo,
Ray's-
and I'm like, wait,
no,
what?
it does not have Ray Rodriguez's dad in it. That would be amazing.
Are you
But it
talking
doesn't.
Peter Boyle?
Yep,
And Lawrence Fishburne's in that movie, too.
absolutely. Love Lawrence Fishburne.
Playing a military
That's a different
character.
story.
Surprise.
Surprise!
Not Lawrence
It's-
Fishburne.
Didn't see that coming.
He never plays military characters. Anyway.
So next on the list is Twins, which is one I know.
Yeah, it is.
I know that Craig can say
That
something
movie
about.
is super weird.
I love that movie for a very weird reason, which is when I was younger, I spent a week in the hospital, and it was one of the like 3 VHSs I had, so I watched it like 75 times.
I feel really bad for you.
It was a time in my life where I loved everything Arnold, and so that movie fell right in that.
So you were like
category.
27?
It was grade 5. Well, yes, which is 2 years from now.
Yep.
I will not watch that movie again.
Wait, so are you gonna watch Triplets then?
I might consider it.
I don't know if that movie will ever actually be made, but then again, there's a new Bad Boys being made, so I can't really speak to anything ever again. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, the thing I love,
Nostalgia.
one of the things I wanted to talk about Twins though is Craig, you've seen it recently, and I was trying to think if
I finished it 15 minutes before I came online.
that's perfect because I think I remember how it ended, but I need to be like either told I was wrong and I'm remembering wrong, or you know what I'm talking about.
Alright.
So I think it ends with something to do with Dan DeVito's character like having owed somebody money, and somebody gets shot, and then somehow Arnold has to save the day, but in
So-
a non-action way.
The premise behind most of Danny DeVito's character is that he owes someone money.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
that's the reason why that's why he's stealing cars and stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
how he ends up with the car in the first place. And so he's bringing this jet engine part to Texas for
Okay.
$5 million to get the payout. And he's got the $5 million, and the guy who was supposed to bring the car
Mhm.
to Texas wants the $5 million. So that's how that ending comes together. It's like the
Okay.
last 5 minutes of the movie.
Gotcha.
And so then the guy's is chasing him through the wherever they ended up. Doesn't matter. It's a nondescript
yeah,
location that they happen to film it in. And so then he's chasing him through there, and Arnold's character shows up because he's there to help him out because he
Yeah.
knows he's going to need it.
It's his brother.
And yeah, exactly. So then Danny DeVito's character is escaping, but he hears Arnold's character come in, and the guy that's trying to get the money is turns his attention to Arnold, and then Danny DeVito's character has a change of heart and turns around and comes back with the money to save his brother.
Yeah.
And then in the most so
This is the part that I couldn't exactly remember, but I know it involves something.
The last 2 minutes of this movie are so dumb they shouldn't have even existed. They should have cut the movie right at just before this happens. So they're both being held at gunpoint, and the guy is gonna kill them, right?
Yeah.
And they say something that had to do with the movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But the point is that they pull this lever, and the chain that's above the guy starts
Doesn't it fall on his
falling
head?
down on his head, and you're like, oh, he's knocked out. Isn't that, oh my God, the chain's going to keep falling for the next 90 seconds. Are you kidding me? A 6-foot-high stack of freaking chain on top of the guy. And then Arnold looks
Wrong
at him.
lever, Kronk.
Arnold looks at him and goes, he's got a lot on his mind.
And
It's a
that's
chain
why I
reaction.
watched it 75 times as a kid.
What?
Those lines.
Is this movie doing? And then they cut to the next scene after.
like
So
it's
so
the
they
happily
get
ever after
reunited.
scene.
That's not it.
No.
Then they're reunited with their mother, which is the whole point in the movie.
Yeah.
But that's not even the important thing. And then they go a little further forward, and they've both got twin children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
That's
dumb.
the part. That's what I got mixed up. I thought somebody got shot, but because I was
It
remembering a
happens
hospital.
earlier. People do get shot, but
Oh.
no hospital.
Does one of them get shot? Danny DeVito or?
No. No one
Okay,
gets
so yeah.
shot. It's
I was
way
thinking-
too family for that.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the ending involved that, but I was mixing it because I was thinking of hospital. I remembered hospital, but that was because they had their own twins at the end.
Yeah, but they didn't
Yeah.
go to the hospital with their kids. The kids were
No?
already like.
Then I'm mixing this up with Lethal Weapon, where
Probably.
he goes to the end where his daughter.
This movie is rated PG, and the only reason it's not rated G is because of Kelly Preston. Because without Kelly Preston's character, there would be a G rating, because she does some things on a bed about halfway through the movie. Makes it worth watching the movie.
Sounds like an 80s movie. Okay, well, yeah, I gotta rewatch Twins. I'm gonna be doing that this weekend.
Well, it is on Netflix for
I
those
know.
of you who feel like suffering through it.
You say suffer, and I say just willfully enter bliss.
Like, to me, Kelly Preston seems worth it. So
Yeah, well, no, Kelly Preston was absolutely worth watching the movie. Don't let my hate of the ridiculous premise stop you from watching that portion of the movie.
Yeah, see, and I'm
just because you want to see some butt cheek, eh?
That's not even the whole reason. She's just great in the entire thing. Doesn't say much.
All right, well, we'll move on to one that I'm not sure if you've seen, which is his next movie, which was Total Recall.
Nope.
Oh, arguably the better version. Just kidding. That's not up for debate. It is the better
It
one.
is definitely the better version. This one's also based off a book, I believe.
I will fight anyone who says it's not the
Based
better one.
on a short story by Philip Dick called
That's
We
right,
Can
yeah.
Remember It For You Wholesale.
Philip Dick's the guy who does did the one that Blade Runner is based off of and a bunch of other sci-fi.
That
That's why I remember
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah. So that's why I was remembering it. So yeah, Total Recall goes to Mars. I like this one because it's a little ambiguous as to whether he actually went to Mars or if this was a simulation played out through a vacation memory implant.
When a man goes for virtual vacation memories of the planet Mars, an unexpected and harrowing series of events forces him to go to the planet for real, or does he? Whoa.
Exactly.
Now
And it's
that is a
great.
plot summary.
Yeah, and it's got some messed up. I remember there's this one scene where people get exposed to the Mars atmosphere, and their faces start to swell up, and their eyes
Yeah,
start to
blow,
pop
yeah.
out. And I just remember at the time it freaking me out, but B also being like, how the hell do they do these this thing? Because this is pre CGI, well, pre good CGI, so they it was definitely
It's certainly better. It's certainly better than RoboCop 2. That CGI was garbage.
yes, it's definitely better than
But-
that. But I don't know how they did it.
But Total
I
Recall
enjoyed
was
it.
actually really good.
Yeah, it's messed up how they do it. There's a lady with 3 tits in it. I honestly don't know what else to say about this great movie.
They referenced that in what was it? 8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah. Yeah, with the lady.
Not that that has anything to do with
Yeah.
thing. They also mention it in, is it Brooklyn Nine-Nine? With like triple biddies. No, that's not it.
Doesn't sound like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine thing.
No, well, it's Craig Robinson who says it.
No.
But for some reason, I feel like it was. This is the end. Something with Craig Robinson, anyways. That's not important. What is important, though, is this movie also has one of the classic Schwarzenegger one-liners, which I can't remember the exact wording of it. It's like,
How's that for the voice?
or something like that, when he shoots the clone of his wife in the back of the head.
Or was it his clone? Her clone.
Oh.
Oh. Creating plots that aren't even there.
I think he
Yeah.
said, "There's your divorce."
Or his fake wife. Oh, that's
like that.
yeah, something like that. All I know is a Sharon Stone.
Or, "Honey, I want a divorce." That sounds like it would
that might
fit.
be it.
Or something
I will
like
Google
that. Like, I think I want a divorce or something like that. Yeah, you gotta look this one up. This one I have seen recently because it was on Netflix like a year or two ago. I don't know if it's still on there.
Okay, I found the quote.
And
Consider that a divorce.
consider that a divorce.
Now that
yeah.
one makes sense.
Yeah, that does fit. Especially
See,
for
that-
him. Can you say it again though, but with your Schwarzenegger impression? 'Cause mine sucks.
Consider that a divorce.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I remember
you're not
that
getting
scene.
off on this, are
no,
you?
I'm just remembering that scene.
Scott,
I
I can't see what you're doing under the camera.
okay.
Hands up. There
My
you
hands
go.
are up. No, I've watched so many of these Arnold movies so many times growing up that I can like
They all become one movie?
Well, I could also close my eyes and like play back certain scenes, and I'm remembering that scene when you said it. I'm like, oh yeah, she's on the ground. They're in the apartment.
Yeah.
He leaves after that to go, try to get away. Yeah.
That scene actually was the point for me where I realized that Arnold Schwarzenegger, not the best actor in Hollywood, in case anyone knew, but he doesn't have bad movies. He doesn't have a movie that is the worst movie ever made, or one that you would totally regret watching, unless it's Twins for Craig. Because they always do a
regret
pretty good
watching
job
Twins.
of...
I just won't watch it again for a while.
And that's fair. I feel like a lot of Arnold movies can fall into that category for most people.
They do a really good job of surrounding him with other, like, top-notch...
Yeah, with
like,
really
talent.
Good, really good cast around him that can like kind of elevate him a little bit. And like they never give him like he never takes too like roles that aren't like kind of suited for him in a sense. Like a lot of the roles I feel like are kind of written for him a little bit, or they adapt it for him because they're like, yeah, he's not like your Daniel Day-Lewis who's
Yeah. Just so well-rounded.
Exactly. He's like, it's not like Arnold's pretending to be
bread and
people
butter.
he's not. Like he's generally some kind of military or police dude or some kind of, well, in the action ones I should say, because there are some ones where he's just, like Twins. He's some kind of scholar of some kind.
He's PB&J. He's not tuna tartar.
Yeah, and I prefer a PB&J.
Me too.
like that's.
Okay, maybe I should have gone with something better than tuna tartar.
But no, I think that fits though, because I'm like, you're right, because some people wouldn't like
You
Arnold
don't have to
movies
think
because
about
they're
it
too
too much.
fancy about it. But it's like, you can always have a PB&J, and I feel you can always pop an Arnold movie in and be happy with it and be fine with the time you
It's
spend
no
with
Scarface after all.
it. Yes, it's definitely not. On
I
that
like
list.
lobster and Skittles.
I like movies like The Godfather, and Scarface.
and Scarface. More John Mulaney. Moving on.
I love that joke from a match because I'm like, oh, it's so true.
Yep.
It's so very true. But yes, moving on. Kindergarten Cop. I love Kindergarten Cop. It's one of the first like real maybe Twins I'd say is probably the first like super like ridiculous non-action premises he does. It's still a little actiony because he's a cop in it still. But he goes and babysits a kindergarten class in it, and it's just ridiculous. Bunch of
They're
kids.
6 years old. What can they do?
It's not a tumor.
This is not a tumor.
And I love this one because just the way the kids they get do a great job. Most of the time I hate kids in movies. I feel the 80s and 90s, particularly, well, this is a 90s one, so the 90s in particular did a good job of having kids that weren't too annoying. And these ones were like annoying in the right amount, you know what I mean? Like to annoy him as, the teacher, guy. And it's just, I just love that balance in it because I think this is one of the first times he's in a role where he's where like his cast member, his co-star is children, and so it's like I just enjoyed the way he kind of because he's this giant like he's a giant when you compare it to a child, right? So they can be easily intimidated by his size, but then you have some of them who just don't notice it at all. It's just I don't know why I got so stuck on Kindergarten Cop, but I enjoy that movie so much.
Hey, sometimes
do you want to play a really quick game?
Okay.
Has Craig seen it or hasn't he?
See this one, I think
I'm gonna say he has. I have a feeling you've seen it.
All right, Scott, cast your vote.
I want to say yes, just because this feels like a one you might have seen even at school for some reason. But let's see. What
the
is
answer?
it, Craig?
Drum roll, please. No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
What?
That fits
Man,
too.
for some reason I pictured you watching this movie.
No,
Not even
like
the movie. Just pictured me sitting in front of a television.
Yeah.
And you're like, Kindergarten Cop's on. Yeah, it is. I can
100%.
see it in his eyes.
I could see him. He just heard a really corny one-liner and then watched him do something weird. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess it doesn't surprise me that much.
It seems like an action movie that Craig might have seen, does it not?
No, that's what I was gonna say. If he had seen it, it wouldn't have surprised me because I'm like, oh yeah, this is one of those family-friendly kind of action films, right? Because it's got a bunch of kids in it. The only action really is at the end when he, when whatever the plot device that made him have to stay at the school arises at the end. And that's the one he must have taken the bullet that I was thinking of, actually. I think he takes a bullet for a kid or something like that, or a teacher, and that's how it ends. But yeah, no, I thought this one would have been family friendly enough for him to maybe have seen it as a kid, especially since it's from the 1990s or from 1990. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he hasn't either, because it's not like this isn't the top. I wouldn't say top. It makes my top 10 Arnold, but like if a more discerning watcher wouldn't maybe have it in their top 10 Arnold movies. But that's also tough to say. Because a lot of his...
Discerning?
Yeah. Well, most discerning ones I don't think would end up making an Arnold list, but, that's another topic.
Next up for movies that the world has seen,
And Craig
I'm going to
hasn't.
skip over the Nissan Cup noodle because I know for a fact I haven't seen it. I assume Craig hasn't seen it.
That's a short film, though, so it doesn't really count.
So next up,
Can we also
got...
skip the TV movies? Because
I've
seen Christmas in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I'm just
sure
looking
none
at
of
his
you have
feature
either.
films.
Considering
Nope.
he's uncredited as the man in chair
in front of Media Truck.
So I don't think anyone knows he's in that. Let's put it this way. No one is hunting through our feed going, oh, they finally did the Schwarzenegger episode. I bet you they talk about Christmas in Connecticut. And we just proved them entirely right. We did. So you're welcome, whoever you are.
You're welcome. So next up, before Christmas in Connecticut, was Terminator 2.
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
This is the I'll Be Back. And this is the one I've definitely probably
Hasta
seen.
la vista, baby.
Of all the Terminators, this is probably the one I've seen the most. Because I remember growing up with the VHS just always kicking around in my house. And this was one of those ones my parents loved watching a lot.
I think for this one, some of like the fight scenes, in quotations, as it were, like when he shoots the T-2000. Excuse me, the T-2000 or whatever, T-1000.
Whatever. Yeah, I can never just say the names.
The bad Terminator in this one, he shoots him in the head and just like blows up and comes back. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they've really cool, like, that was a practical effect, actually, that they did.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. They also had, like, that guy, I think, has a twin, is which how they got away with a couple scenes, too. Is that the actor has a twin, and so they were able to do... I can't remember exactly if that was what it was. I know a couple... Yeah, because also Linda Hamilton has a twin, and that's how they did the scene in the first one. I remember that was the connection, even though those are two different movies. Or no, in that movie, I guess it was. It wouldn't have been in the first one. It would have been in that one that he morphs into her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was there. Anyways, that's a whole other tangent.
This movie was so good, and that character was so perfected, they decided to take it and put it into Wayne's World and use the same exact sequence. That is a selling point for me. If you can make it from your character in one movie and just they use you in a different movie as the same character, you did something right.
That's true. You kind of
You're iconic.
Yeah, and Terminator is definitely an iconic character in film history, and I think T2 is definitely one that kind of cemented it in, I would say, because the first one definitely, I don't know how big a hit it was because it was before my time necessarily, but I'm sure it was a big hit considering they made a second one. But I remember the impact still out. Like, I was born, we were all born 2 years after the movie came out, but I still remember, for me at least, being a big chunk of, like, when you think 90s movies, one of the first one that always comes up is Terminator 2. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's iconic. Definitely up there. And I love it. Craig, you haven't seen this one either, have you?
No.
Yeah, no. This one you might not have liked as much as the first one, though. This one goes a little more sci-fi. It's, about a teenage boy and a robot, both learning how to feel.
I like sci-fi, though, which is interesting that you keep bringing that up.
Well, I thought you said before there was a certain sci-fi element you didn't like about something, or that didn't appeal to you.
It's usually sci-fi books that I don't enjoy.
Okay.
Because they have to be specific. There isn't a whole lot about sci-fi that I don't enjoy when it comes to film.
Then I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch these.
It just hasn't occurred. I guess I don't know.
It hasn't occurred to you.
It hasn't occurred to me to watch them. They seem like a lot of an investment. There's a reason I haven't seen any of the Batman movies.
Oh, well,
it just
okay.
feels like forever.
With Terminator,
You feel like
only
forever.
have to
I
invest
do
the
feel
time
like
in the
forever.
first two. With Terminator, you only have to watch the first two. The rest are unnecessary.
See, I didn't mind 3.
Oh, I liked 3.
But that's because 3 was the first one I saw in theaters.
Same here.
So
It was the first one of my
obviously.
child, like exactly. It was
Yeah.
the first one of our childhood that it's the first one that came out while we were alive.
yeah,
But yeah,
and it came out like significantly after
yes, it did. But
the other one.
I was just saying, like, the third one and the other ones, I don't think pertain to the story as much. If you watch the first two, not that he doesn't understand, the cultural references, but you'd have a greater understanding of them. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
But you don't need the
makes
other
sense.
ones for that, in a sense. They're just if you want to get some jokes that people make in certain things sometimes.
next up on the list, before we hit another lull,
Yeah.
is a quick movie that he was not the star of called Dave.
Yeah, I see that, and I'm like, what is Dave?
Dave's got Sigourney Weaver, my friend.
He was himself in it, and it was a
Yep.
cameo.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got Sigourney Weaver, and that is all the universe needs to know because she is incredible.
Alright, moving on, because the next one. Yeah.
You don't want me to talk about Sigourney Weaver for the next 14 minutes?
Yeah, no, I knew. That's why I'm
It's
getting the
got
ball
Ving
rolling
Rhames
now.
in it too.
I know.
Ben Kingsley, Kevin Kline.
Yeah,
Like-
nothing wrong with it, especially when you start with Sigourney Weaver.
Well, she's.
Now I'm going to use that
second
to
bill.
weave my way into the next one, which I know Scott's a fan of.
I love this
The
movie.
Last Action Hero.
It's definitely in my top 3 Arnold movies. I love this movie so fucking much. Again, I think this is one of the first movies my family ever got on DVD. I definitely remember that. Like within the first 5 DVDs we ever got, 'cause when DVDs became a thing, and priced at a point where normal people could buy them, meaning
Yeah.
Walmart.
AKA Loblaws the day it came out.
Oh, it was Giant Tiger back in Welland, but yes. But yeah, I love Last Action Hero. Just the premise, the kind of breaking they kind of break their own fourth wall inside of the universe itself by him entering the movie, and then the movie characters exiting the movie, and just the commentary, the kind of meta commentary on in this movie world. It was not Schwarzenegger, it was Stallone who starred in the Terminator movies as opposed to Arnold, because Arnold's the character in the movie. It's just, I've already talked about this movie before, but I love it. I just love the premise to it and like the way it's done. Again, another one of those ones where he's teamed up with a kid who wasn't annoyed by. I love this one. Great villain. I can't remember it's you guys would probably know who it is. Who's the villain?
Didn't we talk about this before?
Yeah, we have during like the 80s one, I think. Because the villain is my way of getting Craig to watch this movie eventually. Because I feel like that's the only thing that get him into it.
What's
But
the
can't
villain's
remember.
name? Because I was looking at the list. Ian McKellen's in this movie.
I don't think he was the villain I'm thinking of.
Do you have a name?
I'm trying to open it up now. the bad guy. He'd be like the fourth character on the character list.
Charles Dance Benedict.
I think that was it. Charles Dance. Yeah, because that's the Game of Thrones guy. Maybe that wasn't who maybe it doesn't
That's not
appeal.
going to get Craig to watch.
Yeah, no, I don't know why I thought that would work as much as I thought. Yeah, no, I was
Nope.
definitely thinking Charles Dance.
I haven't seen this movie in like 15 years.
It's a great movie. It's a great Arnold movie. All his one-liners. He's pretending to be a movie character in a movie, and the kid's just the whole time being like, well, why are you doing these movie things? Like calling him out on the different movie tropes that, he's just a part of.
I am watching the trailer.
Yes.
I think I may have seen this movie.
It's very possible.
Shit. An Arnold movie that you've seen that I haven't
Yeah,
seen
but
recently.
I don't
Oh my
friggin'
god.
remember. All I remember is when you started talking about the movies, like about watching the movie and ending up like switching worlds, kind of like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I've seen.
Sounds like
that.
Warriors of Virtue.
That sounds like a movie I've seen. And then I looked at the trailer and I was like, yeah, maybe. But if I did, man, it
would have been. You probably would have seen it on TV. It would have
It's
been
been
on.
20 years since
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Definitely. And that wouldn't surprise me. You guys are both missing out. I'm missing out that I'm not watching it right now. And I didn't watch it before we actually watched this episode, so I have more to say.
So thanks for tuning in, guys. Tune in next week when
When
we talk about other
Yes,
stuff.
we talk about the
Test
rest of
out,
Arnold's list.
Yeah, this is turning into a pretty lengthy thing.
This is Star Wars.
Yeah, this is
All
Star Wars
over
length.
again.
Yep.
Yeah, because we're
Let's-
actually going through every single one.
Well, because
These are-
I would have listed off most of these anyways, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep, and those are true lies.
Yes.
So we're skipping Beretta's Island, are we?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
just
well,
another cameo.
He,
of
he
himself.
plays himself again.
Yeah. That's just him showing up being a big smiley guy.
I'm gonna look it up
Yeah.
for curiosity.
Cool.
All right. Well, True Lies is another one of those ones we could talk about forever because it's
Yeah,
awesome.
because Jamie Lee Curtis hangs from the helicopter, and then Bob gets shot with the hovering drone with the Nerf, and he hits him. That's Bob's Burgers. That's not True Lies.
Okay, I was just like, I don't remember any of this.
Well, she hangs from the helicopter.
Well, yeah, that part I remember. It was after
I started
that.
it off correctly.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
after that
and
that I
then you-
trailed off. I'm like, wait, what?
And then you went into the correct use of the reference.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, this is a fantastic movie. We got Arnold, we got Jamie Lee, Tom Arnold,
Tom Arnold.
in case Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't enough.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton,
Yeah.
Tia Carrera,
I love
Charlton Heston.
I love him torturing Bill
Charlton
Paxton.
Heston.
Yep.
That's a name that doesn't get dropped very often on this podcast.
Not often enough.
No. Probably something
When
to
in
do with
doubt,
the
reference Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, which Scott has talked about in our other videos.
Yep.
Go check those out.
Probably has something to do with the fact that the last time he was in anything was in 2003.
Bill Paxton?
No, Charlton Heston.
Oh.
Yeah. I was
Oh, okay.
Wait, no.
I was
what
like,
I was talking
Bill
about.
Paxton has 100% been in things
Been
more
a
recently
lot of
than that.
things until
I
he
wasn't
passed
talking
away.
about Bill Paxton.
All of the things.
Now I'm talking about Bill Paxton.
Aren't we all?
No, we returned.
I mean, now we are.
Actually, guys.
We are. So I stand by it. True Lies is a fantastic movie, and if you haven't seen it, you can go fuck yourself.
Whoa!
Yeah, Craig.
Easy.
That was directed right at you.
Directly
There
at
are
Craig.
other people who listen to this podcast.
Well, now they know I'm talking specifically to you, Junior.
And that's a transition
what I did
to the
there?
next one,
I
which
did
is
see that.
another one I feel like if Craig ever watched it, it'd be only for one time.
Yeah, I don't
Yep.
know if I would make it in that far into the movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a couple of like the theatrical poster, and
this
I'm
one I can't
thinking
defend
no.
as much.
No. I have this one on VHS if anyone wants to borrow.
I don't have.
I also have an extra
was gonna
VHS
have to ask
player
for
if you want to
DVD
borrow
first.
that.
First.
Hey, Christopher Maloney's in this movie. Maybe I'll watch it. That's funny because I won't.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really. He ends up having to carry a baby in it. That's all I remember
Yeah,
about it.
that sounds ridiculous. Ridiculous. I had a hard enough time with twins.
Yeah, and this one's further. So we'll move on to Eraser, which is the next
Yep.
one, which I vaguely remember. I've definitely seen this one a few times because this is another one we had on DVD. It's weird the ones I remember we had on DVD, like the first 50 DVDs my parents bought. I just can remember most of those pretty pretty well. Anyways, this one, yeah, he's part of an agency that like erases people. Yeah, that's what it is.
So witness protection.
Yeah, like a witness protection type thing, and he ends up like some kind of like thing happens, and they turn on him, and he has to erase the erasers. I think is one of the things they tagged it as. Like he has to turn on them. He goes rogue. Yeah, that's all I remember. I don't remember much about this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I know I have it, but
Yeah,
I don't think I've watched it in a long time either.
this
John
one,
Slattery is in it.
yeah, a lot of it honestly blends with a couple of the
And
other
James
ones. That's
Caan.
why I'm not remembering it. Like every time I try to think of this movie, I think of his movie The Sixth Day, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. But
Not The Sixth Sense.
not The Sixth Sense. No, The Sixth Day. So yeah, we'll move past Eraser. Jingle All the
Yeah.
Way.
Arguably the best movie ever made.
One of my definitely my favorite
Fight me
Christmas
on it.
movie ever.
Sinbad.
Arnold. He dresses up as a superhero at some point. Like, come on.
That guy who died because he was stabbed, who was in that show that Craig liked.
Guy who died because I need to click on this. Oh, Phil Hartman.
That's the one,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen this movie.
Yeah. Oh, wow, you've seen a movie.
Yeah, this is the second one on the list. Thank you very much. Third, in fact,
In his defense.
if we include Last Action Hero.
Yeah, we'll count it. You
But
count
are
it.
we?
Count it. Well, I'm counting it.
He watched the trailer both during this, so we'll count it.
That's true. He's seen more of it recently than I have.
Yeah. That's actually true for both of us. He's definitely watched more of it more recently than both of us.
Yes, I have
That's fair.
absolutely seen Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, this one seems like one you may have even like if you hadn't watched it with your parents, you might have even seen at school.
I definitely watched it when I was working at Canadian Tire.
That makes even more sense than all the.
Were
things
you
I was
at work?
thinking of.
Of course, I was at.
Yeah, it was on
There
one of
we
the
go.
TVs, I presume, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
one of the display TVs. Yeah, no, that makes
No,
sense.
I was
it's a good
watching
display
it.
TV one.
I'm sure I watched
Living the
it at
dream.
lunch, yeah.
Because it's got like a little bit of action in it and like shenanigans, so it plays well on like showing off TVs. / it's Christmas and family friendly. So yeah, plus Arnold.
Plus
Phil Hartman.
Arnold.
Yeah, but if people want more of our thoughts on Jig All the
Plus-
Way, oh
I was going to say, plus you get a duffel bag.
yes. But if people would like to hear more of our thoughts on Jig All the Way, they can check out our Christmas episode from last year, where I definitely talked about it for at least 15 minutes.
And then cried because Larry the Cable Guy is in the second one.
Yes, I definitely remember that being how we moved on from that segment. And so how we'll move on from this one is Batman and Robin. That's all I got.
What?
He was in Batman and Robin. It was the
I
Freeze.
knew
Was he?
that.
He
I have
was-
seen the
shit.
He was
VHS
Mr.
cover 'cause
Freeze.
my
We've talked about
parents
this.
had
Was
it.
he?
No.
No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. Come on, son.
We've sang the song that he makes his henchmen sing, which I didn't know was an actual song.
Yeah, he's Mr. White Christmas. He's Mr. Snow. Da-da-da-da. There we go.
That
Second
was
time.
nowhere near as good as the first time.
No,
We were more on point on the first one, I
Yeah.
like to think. And it was the
more
first one.
harmonized.
The
Yeah.
first one was beautiful.
That one was far more spontaneous than this one. This one we brought it up, then did it. So
That's true.
last time,
Didn't require an argument this time.
yeah, but yeah, we've talked about this one too. I love this Arnold movie. It's not really an Arnold movie, but he's a villain in it. It's one of the few times he plays a villain, but he's a super cheesy villain. He does all the like classic like villainy tropes, scene biting, terrible puns, other stuff. Being a villain, yeah. Batman and Robin. Moving on.
Moving
I've
on.
never seen End of Days, which is his next one. So I don't know about you. Have you, Andrew? You seen End of Days?
For what? I have not.
Yeah. So we'll
Neither
move
have
past
I.
that one.
The story premise.
To the
seems
sixth
alright.
day, which is not the end of days.
Yes. The 6th day, he gets cloned.
Oh shit! On the sixth day.
Yeah, it's the 6th day. So he goes to get his pet cloned, and somehow he gets cloned instead. And the whole movie is about him trying to like figure out why somebody cloned him and why his clone's now in his spot. And then that pretty much ended up like taking down this cloning business because they're making
Holy
people.
Shit. Michael Rooker's in this movie. So
Yeah, I think
obvious
he's
question is does he have sunglasses or is he blue?
Or blue skin.
he's got sunglasses, actually. I think they're the tiny blue
Obviously.
ones. I'm not even kidding. I think they're the tiny blue, like tiny circles that are blue, and they like go like that and like straight. Because I think he's a thug in it, if I'm not like.
No one
or like a
knows what
henchman.
Michael Rooker looks like.
I believe he's like a henchman for the organization, if I'm remembering correctly. This one I haven't seen in a couple of years, but I remember
Yeah,
I
I've
like this
never-
one
I haven't seen
because
it.
it's a sci-fi. You get twin Arnolds at one point. He flies a futuristic helicopter at some point too, which I remember this being the movie that I thought he flies helicopters pretty often, like
Probably.
because this is a couple because True Lies and then
Michael Rappaport was in this.
yes, young Michael Rappaport, early
God
2000s.
damn. Terry Crews.
I don't remember what Terry Crews did in this one, to be honest.
He plays Vincent. Robert Duvall. Holy shit.
You haven't seen The Sixth Day?
We just talked about this, man. I haven't seen
I
it.
thought you were kidding. I thought it was one of those bits.
No.
Oh shit.
No.
Okay.
The cover looks really familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
Oh shit. Oh, this is a good one. This is another one of those like classic weird premise Arnold ones. He has to fight things for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, cause he's not like this is one of those ones where he's not a military guy, but he ends up fighting anyways. Like, cause he's being attacked by these henchmen trying to.
I fucking have it. haven't seen it, but I have it.
That's yep. That's so right.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so you should watch that one. That one's a good one. And Craig, you might even enjoy this one too, just because it's a good sci-fi story. I'm forgetting the twist, to be honest, which is probably a good thing.
It's probably that he dies, and you think that he's the real version.
It's definitely
Nuh-uh.
something along
He's
those.
the clone.
It's definitely something to do with him being the clone or not being the clone, or somebody being a clone.
He's actually the clone.
It's a movie
but
about clones.
He thinks he's the real
The
one.
twist is definitely clone related, obviously, but yeah, I'm forgetting.
It's probably the exact same as that episode of Family Guy where Stewie creates the clone of himself, and then they get in the fight, and you're like, oh, which one's which? And Brian can't figure out who it is, so he kills one because he doesn't laugh at his toes, but it turns out that's actually the real Stewie that he shot. That's probably exactly what it is.
I think it's almost identical, including the talking dog.
Toe thing, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of talking dogs, the next thing says Dr. Dolittle 2, which he did the voice of White Wolf, which I'm just like, forgot that. Okay.
Next up, we have Terminator 3.
Because we skipped Collateral Damage, which is
Yeah,
good.
Oh,
why are
shit,
we
we did,
skipping
yeah. You know what? I
Collateral
clicked on
Damage?
Collateral
Well,
Damage.
I haven't
that's
seen
why.
Collateral Damage, so I was going to be like, it's cool, we skipped
No?
it. I've never
He's a
seen this one.
firefighter. It's badass.
He's a firefighter? Okay. The trailer only vaguely gives that impression. Like, only because you said it now. I thought it was a military one.
no, he's a
The
he was a
firefighter doesn't seem to be important to the story.
No.
Based on reading the, not even the synopsis, just the tagline. After his family is killed by a terrorist act, a firefighter goes in search of the one responsible. So he could have been a mailman, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't have made a difference.
I think
It would
firefighter
have
just
firefighter's easier to explain. It's
why
like,
he's a
man,
giant.
why are you so big?
Yeah.
I fight
You-
fires.
His foot fires. Okay, you know the guy who was the agent from Sector 7 in Transformers?
Yeah.
The kind of loud, annoying
Yeah.
dude?
I,
He's in it.
You actually know his name. Yeah. No, I know who you're talking about.
I want to say John Turturro, but that doesn't sound right.
I think it's
Well,
John
that's the
something.
name of a guy in the movie. So it's either John Turturro or it's John Leguizamo.
No,
And I'm
he
gonna
is.
tell you
That is
you
the Latin
probably
guy.
Don't remember it's him. I'm pretty sure you'd remember his voice if that was the case.
Yeah, it is not John
Sid the Sloth?
Luigiano. Yeah. Sid the Sloth. Wait, is he the guy who played Floop?
John
Is that
Leguizamo?
Sid?
No.
No. Wait, he's Sid the Sloth?
In Ice Age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Hot damn.
Surprise.
Okay. That was bang on. You practiced that way too much for your brothers.
That is one of the only good impressions I can do.
Not Arnold, but he's got a perfect Sid.
I've got a mint Sid the Sloth. All right, moving on.
Moving
Terminator
on.
3.
Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
First one we saw in theaters, as we said.
First,
This was the
yeah.
first one that came out in our lifetimes. It would have been. We
Yeah.
would have been 10.
Really, one of them.
We would have only. Shit, I thought I definitely thought I was older when I saw this in theaters because we've only been 10 because it was 2003.
Yep.
Damn.
I saw it
We
up
have-
here, so.
We have bad parents. Like, taking us to that kind of movie.
It was my grandfather who took me.
Oh, okay. Good Gramps. Leaving the nightmares.
Good Gramps, bad parents.
Yeah, it's totally different situations. But yeah, I like Terminator 3. It's not the best of the Terminators, but I liked it. We got a slightly older Terminator back, you know, because this is 20.
I thought it was cool to see John Connor as kind of like a drifter.
Yeah.
You know, like he was just constantly moving around.
I
He was
enjoyed that
hooked on
story.
pain
Yeah,
pills.
'cause, like, you know, he's just waiting for this thing to happen that his mom spent her whole life telling him that would happen, and then she, you know, died, so he didn't really have anything to do with himself. And
That's it.
yeah, no, I really like the premise. I like that, you know, the idea that Judgment Day was only like delayed, and that, you know, and then eventually it would come back.
It's inevitable.
That
yeah.
was the word I was trying to say.
I got
So
you.
I switched
I
to
got
it
you.
eventually. Yeah, I like Terminator 3. I don't really have anything else to say about it.
I like the part where they go to and they have to find guns that were stashed. So they go into the what's it called? Like the big house where they keep the dead bodies.
Cemetery.
No, the cemetery, but the mausoleum.
Mausoleum,
That's
yeah.
what it is. Go to the mausoleum and he has to break out the casket and he's just walking down the street
With the casket,
with the casket on his shoulder, just shooting a gun from the hip. Just,
And I remember that being like one of the big pictures associated with that movie. Like,
yeah,
on
I think it's
posters
on the
and shit.
back of it.
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree. I think so too. Cause, yeah, no, I can picture that exact scene. He's got the glasses on, the full leather. Yeah. And this one's great because they leaned into a lot of the like things that like the kind of tropey things that people loved about the first couple. You know, the I'll be back, Arnold being Arnold with the, you know, playing on the. Because I think it is this the one that he ends up at a male strip club at the beginning?
Yeah, and that's where he takes the clothes from.
Yeah. So they kind of play with that a little bit because the first two, it's a little bit of a joke. Well, not a joke. It's kind of, you know, just, oh, he runs into some bikers and that's how he takes that's where he ends up the clothes. And the second one, it's a little less of a joke. It's a little bit more of an intent. And then this one, it's just a full joke. They just make fun of the first couple, and I thought it was kind of funny scenes too. Like,
well, in this one, they get the female Terminator who comes back.
Yeah.
Steals the car. The cop pulls her over, so she looks up at the sign, sees a busty chick, and just makes herself more busty. And as a 10-year-old me, I was like, okay, check that box. I'm signed up.
That's
I'm
how the
officially a
world
Terminator
works.
fan.
Yep. Pretty much. Anyways, anything else about Terminator 3? Besides Craig hasn't seen it?
I just want to say that right here, I have the box set Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation Duo Pack.
Nice. I was going to order that too.
Picture right there.
Yeah. I could see it.
Him walking down the street, shooting from the hip,
Yes, for
casket on his shoulder.
audio listeners, because, yeah, we don't do video anymore. He just showed it.
Now you know.
Now we know. So, yeah, next on the list is a small cameo in the rundown where he was just sitting in a bar.
Well, he just walks by.
Yeah, oh yeah, he just walks by and he just says something to The Rock, being like, go get him.
Something snarky, good luck or something like that.
Yeah, he was like handing off the ropes. And the reason I just
Yeah.
like that one is because this is as he's going into the, he's like, at this point in his like life, he was going into like running for the governor. And so that's why he's not in movies for like the next 5 years, except for like little cameos at this point.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting little thing.
Have we talked about this movie, or have I seen this movie?
The rundown?
The rundown? No, we've 100% talked.
I've definitely talked
we've
about
talked
it before. Yeah.
We've talked about him having a cameo in this and just walking in, right?
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
I've seen that, but I obviously haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely talked about that scene before.
Yeah.
When I
We
talked
absolutely did.
about the rundown, or when we talked about like something.
Favorite action movies, maybe?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
For those of our listeners who are loyal, tell us.
Those who can remember better
us
than
know.
us.
Let us know.
Yeah. So then, yeah, he had a couple other cameos for the next couple of years, Around the World in 80 Days, which we've also definitely talked about that cameo before.
Hey,
Well, really,
guess
from
what?
there, he's not.
That's the last one on my list
Yeah.
That you've seen.
of movies that I've
Yeah.
seen.
See, from there, for me, it gets kind of watered down.
Yeah. After his governor time, his career after that hasn't been quite as
So you're
stellar.
telling me it's not worth it watching any of the Expendables movies?
If you like big booms and big dudes,
I
yeah,
do
okay.
not.
I feel like you would hate the Expendable movies because
Yeah.
you just take every trope and
They're the
cliche
epitome-
thing
yeah.
of 80s and 90s action movies, and you put
Okay.
them into those movies, and that's what they are. Which
The
is why I love
Expendables
them.
2 is just him coming back over and over and again saying, I'll be back.
Yep.
Over and over again. He does it like 4 times in the movie.
Yeah.
There's one time he's like, I'll be back. And then he comes back with like a plane. And you're like, oh shit, okay, I guess he's back.
He says get in the chopper in the third one.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
They're super.
Poorly
They know what they are though. That's
yeah,
why I don't mind
they
them.
lean heavily on it.
Yeah, and
And they get more and more action guys as it goes on. Was it the third one where they introduce Antonio Banderas?
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, he was in those movies. Let's get him in here.
Antonio Banderas. They brought in Mel Gibson as the bad guy in the third one.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, I love these movies. Well, not love. Love isn't the right word for them. I like these movies. They're fine. They're not really Arnold ones, but he does have, he does play a cool role in them. I like that he has brought in him and Stallone have a little bit of a kind of.
Well, they're in a couple things together after this.
Yeah, but this is the first time they actually ever appeared in anything together, and I like that the first one they have like a little, not, I don't want to say a rivalry, but you can tell that there's a little bit of like, that they're kind of acknowledging that at one point they were kind of rivals in Hollywood, and at this point they're both kind of just like they kind of did a little nod to that, I feel, which is why I liked his role in these.
To me, it was like they almost kind of tried to go that Heat direction where they're like, oh yeah, well here's fuck, I'm drawing a blank on their name. I can picture them. De Niro and was it Pacino?
I've never seen
Wasn't
Heat,
Heat like
so-
that too, like that kind of like, we're not so different, you and me.
Exactly, and I felt
Like
like
that sort of thing.
that's this what they did with this, like with Arnold popping up in the Expendables was kind of their way of
Yeah.
showing that they kind of finally learned that 20 years later after they've both grown a little bit more and stopped doing so much stuff.
You have your law practice, and me, I have these fucking markers.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
Why,
have secrets.
Yesterday, I wore my pajamas under my clothes and
And I pretended
I was a fucking
Fucking
fireman.
fireman. You've been to O'Halligan's tonight, haven't you?
It was nickel shot night. For a quarter, they gave me this many.
So yeah, for me that pretty much ends my
Yeah,
list
same
of
here.
important things.
Yeah.
So
I got nothing else to add. I'm glad that I could contribute John Mulaney.
it says he
references.
was in Killing Gunther. Let's kill Gunther. Let's get on to WWWTW.
Yeah. Who wants to start?
Well, I have an extremely short list.
Mine's
so
super short too.
Cool. Mine might be the
Cool.
longest this week.
nice. I will power through. I watched 3 seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Damn. Okay. So you got
Crushed it.
volume-wise, you got a
Hot
lot
damn.
more done than I did.
Yeah. I watched 3 episodes of Goliath. Still stand by it. Fantastic show.
Nice. Okay.
I watched Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Okay.
And I watched Beauty and the Beast, the live-action version.
What did you think of that one?
I haven't seen that
I've
yet.
seen it many times.
Okay.
Beautiful story.
How does it compare to the animated version that I love so much in my head right now, even though I haven't seen it in 15 years?
On par.
On
Well,
par.
I heard that they're identical. Is that not correct? Like it's literally
They've changed
just...
a few things.
Okay.
It's not like they've rearranged a few scenes. They've redone stuff. They've changed like certain things. So like you don't see certain things in certain places. And some of the songs are a little bit different, I think. But I'd say it's on par, Craig.
Okay. Well, it's been 15 years, so to say that I would remember it would be lying to myself and all of our esteemed listeners.
No, that would be terrible.
Did you
Get
was
it?
that- okay.
Ha!
I wasn't sure if I
Ha-ha.
misheard or if you were doing that on purpose. Okay.
Yeah, that was fucking awful. But I watched Beauty and the Beast, and it was a beautiful story. It was a film built for love.
Yep, that's what it is.
And that's what I watched this week.
Oh, that's
Nice,
all.
nice.
Okay, yeah, that
Scott,
was.
what
The
you
tale
watch
is
this
a
week?
tale as old as time.
Okay,
Let's move
well,
on.
I did not watch that much either. I finished up The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I don't know if I mentioned that last week that I
You
finished
did.
it.
You said
Okay.
that it was all right,
Okay.
but you compared it to Riverdale and CW shows, and that is what turned me off. So I
Fair
thought
enough.
about it until you told me that it was like a CW show, and I was like, no.
I couldn't remember if I had watched the last episode or I mentioned it last week or
I
not.
don't think
so.
you'd watched some of it. I don't think you watched all of it.
Okay, well, I finished it. That's why I wrote it down. Yeah, so I finished that first season. I liked how it ended off. But you're not wrong, Craig. It is very CW. Yeah. I would recommend it to people who already watch things like Supernatural or, CW shows. Like, if you like Riverdale, I'm sure you'd like this show too. But I liked it because it was a little more on the Supernatural side than the Riverdale side. But I don't think it'd be for you, Craig, to be honest.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not even gonna bother.
And then Andrew, I don't think he would like it either, to be honest. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I don't think so.
I have seen the previews that come by, and just the fact that the one scene is the guy who goes like this. There's like this weird, stupid, douchey cockeye to the side.
Yeah,
What appears
I
to
hate
be an
that guy.
aviator jacket. I want to stab him in the neck.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't watch that
with
show
a
based off of
bendy
him.
straw.
I think was
That's
he a
it.
dark-haired
Pre-sun.
guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wearing like a brown leather jacket.
Yeah.
He does like
He's a
the
douche.
super smug.
He's a weird guy in this one. I didn't like
looks
his character. He was this weird kind of like trying to like he was both showing his interest in Sabrina while at the same time acknowledging that she was totally in love with her boyfriend. But it's very weird, that line he was walking. I'm just like,
He
you're kind of
was super
sleazy.
fucking douchey.
Like that's the only way to describe his character. Kind of sleazy.
I could tell by his face.
Yeah.
I was like, I want you to fucking die.
And see, that's the thing. He didn't help himself by making faces like that or the way they dressed him. But
No.
I don't remember his name, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. He's just a fucking douchebag.
Yeah. So yeah, I also watched the newest episode of Flash and Black Lightning because those are on Netflix, and I wish DC and Netflix would just put the rest of them on there so I could keep up with all the DC shows on Netflix.
Pull them all out in one fucking go. Give me 23 episodes at once.
No, I don't want them to do that. I don't need that. I just want them to add it to Netflix each week so that I can just only go to Netflix to keep up with this stuff as opposed to having to like buy season passes and different things like that. Try and like get an antenna for my thing so I can watch it on time. I'm just I want to be able to keep up with the shows, but I want it to be easy, like the Flash and Black Lightning are right now being added to Netflix. And I'm hoping they do that with all the seasons next year. But yeah,
That would be awesome.
that would make my
So
life.
much easier to stay on top of it.
Well,
And if you miss something, you can just go back and watch it.
Exactly, and I would rewatch them so much. Like
And we'd have a whole new segment dedicated to it.
exactly, we would talk about those shows every week. Like because the only reason we don't now is because it's too hard for the two of us to try and keep up with it. We know Craig wouldn't talk about it, but even just trying to coordinate me and you try to keep up with even one of the
Yeah.
shows is just would be too hard. Like the fact that we can even keep up with Flash and Black Lightning because they're added week to week is sometimes a stretch.
Sometimes we need to enter flash time just to see it.
Exactly. I could use Flash time sometimes. God. Anyways, yep, Flash. And so the last thing I started watching was a new season of The Librarians, which is on Crave TV, which I might have talked about on this show before. I can't remember.
Is that the one where they have to like look after like mythical shit or something?
Exactly, yeah. Magical library.
Okay.
Look
That's what it
after
was.
mystical stuff. Neither of you would like this show. It is super campy.
I see it looked pretty good from some of the previews I've seen, like at the beginning of shows I own on DVD.
Yeah. Well, you might like it. I classify this as one of those shows, like, to me, it seems like one of those shows that falls under, like, Once Upon a Time category, kind of, almost, I don't want to say Gotham, but kind of, like, I feel like other people who would watch it would be like, oh, yeah, no, I don't like that. And I'm like, yeah, but I like the kind of weird stuff they do for no good reason. It's not historically accurate at all. It's, like, you know what I mean? Like, some people would probably complain about that, and I'd be like, I don't care. They're having fun. Like, it's a little bit like the Doctor, like Doctor Who, but he's a librarian and not an alien,
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
there's a team. So I don't know. I just like it. It's fun. It's not like, it's only 10 episode seasons, so it's nice, easy little like show, and it's very campy. Like I feel like it's got that same vibe as like the 60s Batman, but I don't know for sure because I've never actually sat down and watched all of the 60s Batman. But I feel like it's got that same kind of campy kind of feel that you just kind of enjoy it every week just for the fun of the characters, and just you're not like I don't want to say stressing, but there's not like a whole lot of mythos to it. You're not like, I'm not deep diving into the librarian lore. I can just watch it, and then once the season's gone, I don't think about it again till the next season. So, yeah, That's all I watched this week, though, because, it was a short week.
It was actually a long week.
Well, we were gone on the weekend. That's why.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, where'd you go? Middle of buttfuck nowhere?
Middle
Sounds
of
about right.
fuck nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, and
I was trying to think of a
didn't
better
even
joke
see a
than that.
TV, so like it was weird
Yeah.
weekend. Weird
Yeah.
weekend.
First time for everything, my
I
friend.
was in the car for several, 4 hours.
Yeah. Oh man, between that's I'm surprised actually that you guys didn't watch more than me, because Thursday night I didn't have anything that I could watch. Friday night I didn't have anything I could watch. Like Saturday, Sunday. Well, Sunday I could, but
Chose not to.
did a lot of driving.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But
In between.
somehow I managed to find time to watch. Well, I watched some more New Girl, obviously.
Okay.
Who's that girl?
Jess. It's Jess. It's always Jess.
It never gets old.
It doesn't. There
Not for
are
people
very
who've seen the
few-
show.
There are very few theme songs on television shows, especially on Netflix, that I don't skip. And well, when Psych was on Netflix, I couldn't skip it, but I absolutely love the Psych theme song, so I wouldn't skip that. And New Girl, there's no way I would skip it
No.
because it's different every time. It's
Yeah.
the same song,
So,
but they somehow manage to cut it differently every time.
hey girl.
What
Oh,
you
so good.
doing? Yep.
Hey girl.
Where you go? Are we gonna do the whole thing? We're not gonna do the whole thing.
Who's that girl?
Who's that girl?
I can't chime in for this
It's
one.
Jess. There we go. It's
Uh,
Rocks.
I watched. So you guys, I don't think we talked about it, but Netflix has this new comedy series now called The Degenerates,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I did not like them.
I think we talked about it on the weekend, but
I think so,
So that's the part I was mixing up. I'm like, we
I
talked
I was
about it
like,
at some point.
I
but
definitely
don't think it
remember
was on the
talking
pod.
about this with Scott and Andrew, but it was not on the podcast.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, 'cause we were
in the
discussing
same
Christina
room
P.
for once. It was weird. So you mentioned that there were a couple people on there that you, I think you started watching the first one or whatever. I only went in and watched Christina Pazitsky's,
Yep.
and then I went back afterwards and was like, well, I know that guy. I know that guy, and I know her, and I know that guy. So I realized I know a lot more of them, and I've liked their comedy, but I can't bring myself to watch it because in my head I enjoy them, but I don't know if I'm going to like it because I didn't really like Christina P's bit either.
They went really dark and weird. I
Yeah,
found, for
it's
the ones that I
so
watched.
weird. I don't know why anyone would enjoy that, really. It just seemed like it was crude for the sake of it.
It's kind of
And-
funny you guys say that because I actually listened to her. She did the podcast with Joe Rogan today, and that's the one I listened to. And they were
Yeah.
talking about that one too, and she kind of rushed it out a little bit. Like,
I mean,
because
that-
like she said the subject matter she was talking about, like she thought by the time she had her hour done, it would be kind of dated. So she was like, oh, they offered this 15, so she kind of just did it. So that's just like interesting that you're saying you guys didn't like it as much. And I'm like, well, maybe it just wasn't as refined as she normally does. I don't know. I haven't watched her
That's
stuff.
probably it. Her hour is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because in her hour she gets to spread some jokes out, right? Like she gets to talk about it for a while.
Yeah. But in the
I'm gonna talk for a while.
in the in the Degenerates bit, it's just like it just seems like it was crude for the sake of being crude. It was appealing to a specific group of people.
Yeah. And like,
Um,
I'm imagining the subject matter was very topical
yeah.
at the moment.
Well, yeah, some of it was topical. It just did not resonate. We'll go with
Yeah.
that.
No,
We'll
I
use
could
some
see that.
highbrow
From what she
language
was
to
saying
describe
on the-
lowbrow comedy.
Yeah. From what she was saying on the Joe Rogan podcast, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to actually watch that bit of yours now. Just
I don't.
Her hour is hilarious.
Yeah, watch.
I think I've
watch,
seen that one, yeah.
Mother
I
Inferior. That
remember.
one's good.
Mother Inferior. Oh,
That
I
is
believe
good.
I've
The
seen that, yeah.
Degenerates bit, no, and I don't think I'll go in and watch the other ones because like I have a good impression of Big J Okerson in my head, and I don't really need to know what his Degenerates bit's like. What else I watch? I finally finished The Good Place.
Oh,
what'd you think?
I forgot
Well.
that you were still watching that.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we talked about most of this stuff on the weekend.
Fair.
So I'm
That's
trying
true.
to remember what I've discussed on the podcast. Yes, I was still watching it because I was going through it slowly.
yeah.
Because I kind of got
Aren't we
bored of
all?
it a little bit and then went back into it again.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, I'm still watching season 2 of Stranger Things. So
I haven't even started Stranger Things yet at all.
I've been
Too
watching,
strange for me.
I've been watching season 2 of Stranger Things since season 2 of Stranger Things came out. I'm like 3 episodes in. It's not good, but yeah, I take stuff slowly sometimes. So The Good Place.
In theory, I'm still watching Breaking Bad. Then
then I've been working on Sons of Anarchy for years.
one of these days, my friend. One of these days.
Yeah. So I was, like I said, I got kind of bored with it because it was the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, no.
I don't like the Janet arc that has gone on with things. I like some of the character progression, but there are other characters that have progressed in a direction that I'm not very happy with. See Janet, because I thought Janet was a perfect, simple character that didn't need any depth to her. Because the whole point is that she's just a personal assistant and not. See, I don't want my Google Home to start talking back at me.
Yeah, that would be weird.
So, although I do like the way that Janet managed to pretend to be bad Janet.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it's the last episode or the second last episode. That part's interesting. But the whole being in love with Jason bit that's just weird.
That one felt so forced to me too. Like
the only good thing that brought up was Derek.
True.
Because Derek is worth the aggravation of the.
Well, that's just
weird
because
Janet
it's
story
Jason
arc.
Mantzoukas.
Well, yeah, that man can
Playing
do
Jason Mantzoukas.
He can do no wrong.
Absolutely right.
But yeah, no, I like the way it ended though. It was an interesting twist. It's something that they seem to have figured out where the show is kind of boring, and then they're like, oh, but wait, we're gonna change literally everything about it for the last episode. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's
in
the
the first one, it's like,
with.
actually, this is the bad place, and then the second one, it's like, oh, we're just gonna send him back to life again.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see them die in ridiculous ways in season 3. Is that sadistic?
They already did die in ridiculous ways.
That's true. But I want to see it happen firsthand.
It's kind of a trope of the show.
It's gonna be silly. So
Yeah.
I finished.
Wouldn't it be funny if they died the exact same way?
It would be funny.
That would be.
But like, yeah, I don't know. That seems like it would be a little bit boring to me. That doesn't sound like a Michael Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I don't even know what I want from the 3rd season now because
Do we even
like
want
I
a
said,
third season?
anything past. See, you're asking.
Yeah,
these
no,
questions,
it's
but
funny
these are all
because I
things that
agree with you
said
now.
already.
Back when you said it should have ended after one season, because I'm like, yeah, the
one
second season wasn't enough for
and
me.
that's it. Anything else now is gravy that I did not really want, but somehow I'm still drowning my mashed potatoes in it.
Yeah, it's like now I got to get some bread for this gravy.
See,
to
I really
soften it
liked
up.
season 2. I
Need
really liked it,
straw.
but season 1 was it was perfect.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like. I don't like shows that go on longer than they need to be.
It was a good place.
But
Just let it be.
You know what's not a show that's going on longer than it should be? Actually,
What's that?
I'm gonna skip this one because I like to hold. I'm gonna hold on
Oh
to it.
man.
Yeah. That
Is
a
it
little
Big
tease.
Mouth?
That's a little tease. No, of course it's not Big Mouth. Big Mouth is the best show ever created. Even better than News Radio and Cheers combined.
Whoa.
I started.
Kroll Show.
I'm in. Oh, Kroll Show? No, that's not on my list, unfortunately. I started and have not quite finished Maniac, which is a series with Jonah Hill and that girl whose name I
Emma
can't
Stone?
remember. Yeah, Emma Stone. Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's got Jonah Hill in it.
Yeah, he looks
If
so
that
different.
makes sense. He doesn't seem like Jonah Hill.
Yeah, no, from the trailers it looked that way too. He's not as charismatic. Well, slightly charismatic. Charismatic's not the word I'm looking for.
He's not supposed to be as that character though. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
well, exactly. He's actually playing because normally his character is that, right? Where now it's
Yep.
like,
It's super depressing. They're supposed to be at a super depressing point in their lives. That's the medical trial, which is the concept of the show. And then, so the first couple episodes kind of tee you up to that, and then beyond that, it's pretty much different stories that happen during the medical trials. Makes it interesting because basically the idea is that they're in a medically induced coma and having hallucinations in their brains, and so the stories are just the hallucinations. So each episode's a different one, basically.
yeah, no, that concept sounds really interesting. I mean,
It is better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be. Someone said that it was good, and so I figured I'd give it a shot. I got nothing better to watch, I'm sure. And so I have enjoyed
And
it.
here we are.
So I got 3 more things. I'll make them nice and quick. I started watching. We already talked about this man earlier in the thing. John Leguizamo's Latin History for Morons.
Oh, I wanted to check that out too. How is it?
So it's funny and entertaining. It's very dense. And
okay, that was
it's
the part
poorly
I wasn't
mic'd.
sure about.
So he's difficult to hear sometimes. He's entertaining, but like I said, it's really dense. He throws a lot of stuff at you because he doesn't stop talking ever. And the concept is he's teaching like the history of the indigenous people to Central, North, and South America. But he's doing it anecdotally through like things from his past and currently and stuff like that. So there's a lot of information in it, and it's entertaining, but it's not something where I'm like sitting down and that's all I'm going to watch for the next hour and a half because it's that captivating. So I'm going to finish it because it's entertaining and funny, but it's also kind of a little bit beyond me. Maybe because I can't relate. So I find the material interesting, but I'm not like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, you don't have a cultural reference point because you didn't grow up with that culture at all.
You need a Dutch version
of that. I need John Mulaney to do the Irish Catholic version. Like I could totally relate to that.
I would love if more comedians got into doing like random history.
Like history bits like it. Oh, that'd be perfect.
Just because like I love that.
Isn't that called drunk history?
Drunk history is a different concept. It sounds really entertaining. I have not watched Drunk History.
I have not watched it yet either, just because I don't know how I'm feeling.
I find that it gets confused with that other series, Adam Ruins Everything, and Adam Ruins Everything sounds absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
but he ruins things in a wrong way. It's supposed to be entertaining and enlightening, and he...
In certain points it was. He's run out of topics. He should have known when to stop.
Yes. Stop ruining everything with your cynical-ass mind.
Yeah. Like certain things I found, like certain topics he did were interesting and kind of like enlightening because it's like, oh yeah, people don't look into that part of it. But now it's just, he's been doing it for 5-10 years now.
So it's one thing when you're like, this is actually how stuff works. And it's another thing when you're talking about complex social issues and things like that. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That is where you jump the shark.
I think that's where he started to like go into the wrong territory. I agree.
I started watching Life in Pieces season 3. That is one of my favorite sitcoms on television today. For those of you who are both fans of that and paying close attention to this show, you would know that the concept of how our episode titles is come up with is very similar to the way that the episode titles for Life in Pieces is come up with. Their episode titles are like the concept is 4 different stories in the same family.
Don't give away how we come up with our titles.
Episode 57. I don't care. Everybody's in on my creative process now. That's 4 random words.
We're letting them behind the curtains.
If anybody's paying attention an hour and a half into the episode about Arnold Schwarzenegger, then they now know how I come up with the episode titles. But anyway, Life in Pieces. Love it. Watch it. It is
do it.
Easy to watch. Very entertaining. Colin Hanks is awesome. James Brolin's in it too. Not Josh, but James. So I assume his father or brother or something. I don't know how old anybody is.
Or a random other dude.
No, they look the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. I was just like,
they absolutely.
Brolin
I
could
saw
be a common last
Brolin.
name.
I was like, oh yeah, that explains why he looks familiar.
Okay. So it's like a Baldwin kind of deal
exactly.
Then. Where it's like, oh, you know that's a Baldwin.
Or Andy Richter and his 5 brothers. It's a Arrested Development joke. Anyway, the last...
Okay, that's why I was like, wait, who am I supposed to be thinking of here?
The joke on Arrested Development is that Andy Richter has 5 brothers, and they're all played by Andy Richter. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha, yeah.
The last thing on my list is a good old Canadian CBC sitcom that has made its way onto Netflix again. Schitt's Creek, season 4. I started watching that. It is not a bad Canadian, especially for CBC. It's a pretty good sitcom. We'll go with that.
Compare it to
Corner Gas. It's not as funny for the same reasons.
Okay.
Schitt's Creek tries to be really smart while also being dumb. Corner Gas
Ooh,
kind of does the
that's a
same
weird
thing,
line.
but tries to appeal to a wider audience. I guess.
That's fair. Try to get to
I
more
like
than
Eugene
just
Levy.
Canadians.
Yeah, see, that's why I thought I thought for some reason thought Andrew would like it for that reason, but I don't know why.
Yeah, Eugene Levy's good. Catherine O'Hara, who's the mother on Home Alone, and Lily's
okay.
dad from How I Met Your Mother. He's the mayor of Schitt's Creek, Roland Shit. As some of the his
Wait,
name
you
is
said his
Roland
name is
Shit.
Roland
Yes.
Shit?
And he is
Awesome.
that tells you pretty much what that show is like.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's clever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I watched. That's a good week, guys.
Yeah, that's a longer episode than we expected because
Well, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the Governator.
that's very true. It's very true. I'm sure we'll have much more to say on other episodes too.
Probably. He seems to come back
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
As-
thanks for
as
listening
he
this
would
week,
say,
everybody,
He'll
and
be back.
we'll be
Yeah.
back.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.